Hi, Ron LeGrand here. Before we get started with the podcast, I thought you might want to know that I recently recorded a 90-minute online training about how we make so much money today in the terms business. That's on pretty houses in pretty neighborhoods, not the junk houses that we have to go rehab or wholesale. I go through step by step on exactly what I and thousands of my students are doing right now to make the fastest and the easiest money in real estate without using your money or credit. If you're interested in doing just that, go to thementorpodcast.com/free training. See you there.
Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron LeGrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Mentor Podcast. I have a very special guest today who has something very unique to talk to you about, something you've probably not heard about before unless you heard it from him. His name is Phillip Vincent, and he's going to teach you how to not only just get more leads, but very specialized leads on a very specialized group of people. And we're getting rave reviews about him every time we have a chat with him, or putting on. Sometimes he's actually working during our summit, and he was a smash hit during the last one. So I don't know anybody that knows more about Phillip than Phillip. So Phillip, I'm going to let you take over and tell them who you are and why should they believe anything you tell them today, man?
Sure. Hi, Ron. Thanks for having me on today. You know, if I was learning about my own product, I would want to learn how the genesis of how I figured out what I do. And so to be clear, I'm going to talk today about how what I feel to be the best leads in real estate are coming from one source, and it's the senior living industry. And I'm not talking about taking a single family home and turning it into a residential assisted living community. That's not what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about if we were moving our mom into senior living, whether it be a big location, a little location, that is the flashpoint of when the family needs to sell their house. And the numbers are quite staggering. 7 out of 10 Americans are going to live in assisted care before mom passes away. And so with the way the numbers are with the baby boomers, there's about 21 million houses over the next 20 years that are going to need to be sold in this manner. And I feel like it's the future of real estate. I've been in this business 22 years now, and I've been doing the senior living thing since 2011. So I have 10 years in it. And it was born out of the fact that I hate working bad leads. So I'm excited to be here, Ron, and talk about why I think I'll take the Pepsi challenge with anybody. I think these are the best leads in our business.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about, well, first, I think we probably ought to start, Phil, with there's all kinds of myths about when mom moves into the assisted living, what they can do with her estate before that she moves in. Tell us what you know about that and how it applies nationally, because I know there's some state rules on top of it.
Yeah, great question. I believe you're talking about the Medicaid rules, which are different in all 50 states. My favorite answer for anything about this is it depends. It takes the person, the estate, who's still alive, what their assets are, and then it depends. I liken Medicaid and Medicare. They get confused a lot. Medicaid or Medicare, I should say, is the actual the drug coverage, and then Medicaid is where you might live, right? Or in-home health care or 24-hour care. And so to get Medicaid, I liken it to food stamps. We all know what food stamps are, right? I don't think they should give food stamps to people that have money, and I don't think they should give Medicaid to people that have assets. And right. So what I mean by that is the family has to spend down, that's a technical term, spend down the assets until they qualify or until they're broke enough to qualify for Medicaid. And I believe that's the way it should be. I don't want my Medicaid dollars going to millionaires. And so through family planning, the look back period was non-existent before 2017. So families would wait till the last minute, then put it in a trust and then block it out. So mom with $1 million house could still get Medicaid. They now have a look back period that's prevented that. So I really think that's the right way to do it anyway, but it's kind of like planting a tree with your family care or your estate planning. You know, when's the best time to plant a tree? They say today or 20 years ago. And that's kind of how it is for the estates as well. We need to help our parents prepare better. That generation though, they don't like to talk about morbidity or the future. And so a lot of times they haven't set these things up. And that's why estate planning is so crucial for these families.
Okay. What is the look back period now? 5 years?
Yes, sir. 5 years.
So, okay. So where do you come into that picture? You're trying to buy the property while before mom goes into assisted living?
Yes, sir. And so if you look at anything in sales, you don't want to be too early in sales, and you definitely don't want to be too late where you missed it, right? And so why we call this, the flashpoint of it is because they've been getting a lot of bad news lately. They just found out, mom fell down again. So now she had to have a surgery. And it's always something like, it's always a fall, Ron. It's how it happens. And so she's going to be okay. She's going to live, right? But the doctor just told the family in 3 weeks when mom gets out of rehab, she can't move back home. She has to go to 24-hour care. And now the adult children are just scrambling. And, do you take mom to the cheapest place you can find or the nicest place? And so out of our own guilt, we, of course, take mom to the nicest place because, as Americans, we liken the most expensive to the best. And in this case, we won't get on that tangent today, but not necessarily. But we take mom to the place that's the nicest one we can find in town. And when we meet with the financial plan or the financial director at the senior living community, he's the one that tells us this place is $8,500 a month. And the adult children look at each other like, who's going to pay for that? Mom's got a pension of $2,100 a month, $2,300 a month, right? And so that's the moment they go, we're going to need to sell the house. Mom bought that house in, pick a decade, 1968, 1974, whatever it is. And she's been living there forever. She's got a ton of equity, but guess what? It's not liquid until they do something with the house. And so when you work with the stakeholders of senior living, so let's think of it from a high level, right? Finding daughter Judy, that's what I lovingly refer to as the adult child that's helping mom move into senior living. She's really hard because she might live 400 miles away from mom. So what I train people to do is work with the stakeholders, the golden goose in senior living that has the ear, the attention of daughter Judy in that moment. And when the referral comes from that person to me, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, Ron. They think they have to sell me the house. And because that is such a powerful thing, I'm really cognizant of who I work with, because the investor world, that I word, and the senior living world, they don't get along very well. Like the senior living world hears the word investor, all they hear is the word shark. And if you're a real estate agent, it might even be worse, right? Because that's the way it's been fixed for 30 years. And so we're trying to have something new here. We call it a senior transition specialist. And it helps with more than just the stuff. It's what the family is going through for placement and the stuff. I can't stress how big the stuff is.
All right.
The life.
So when do you come into the picture now? Tell me exactly how you get in the back door here.
Right. So exactly how it is about 11 different job titles that I've found over the past 11 years that have the ear of the adult child that's helping mom in that exact moment. They have to make a really hard decision really quickly. And I network with the senior living industry to build relationships with those people, because why? Everyone cares, Ron, about what's in it for them. So if you're the proprietor of a senior living community, you care about occupancy. If you're the social worker, you care about care. Who's going to care for this family? Care. Only 2 people out of the 11 you can have a money conversation with. The other 9, it's all about how you're going to care for their client. And the 2 are the financial director and the proprietor. Those 2 you can have a money conversation with. With those different job titles, they're helping that family through that tough time. And they're looking, and sometimes the realtor is the last straw. When the realtor comes in and says, clean this place out and do this list of demands before we list it, the family's like, no, I don't want to do that. There has to be a better way. And that's where Mom's House was born.
Okay. So again, how do you get to them?
How do I get to the people? In senior living, it's like hidden in plain sight. There's just as much networking going on in senior living as there is in real estate. And so where those people are at, they all congregate together. This is not a thing where you have to, what I hope, Ron, is people hear us right now and I hope they don't think this is what I do. And I'm just going to say this out loud. People think I walk in the front door of a community and I put my hand out and I say, hey, I'm Phillip, and I buy houses from old people moving into nursing homes. I said like 3 things in that sentence that would get me kicked out, right? And that's just not how this is done. You build relationships through the networking in senior living. In St. Louis, where I am, we have things called SRTs, and that stands for Senior Resource Task Force. You guys don't need to write that down because you won't have that in your city unless you're in St. Louis. But the point is that I like all 3 of those words. Seniors, that's who we help. Resources, so everybody there is a resource for seniors, and then it's a task force to help them. So when we get together, we all talk about, hey, who we're helping this week. And then we're like, Well, it's like a puzzle piece. I can help this person this way. This person helps them there. It's multiple things happening at once. And let's say you even have 20 people that know, like, and trust you. Those three words are big, though. Know is easy to be known, but liked and trusted. When you build those relationships with those people, they now use me, Ron, as a tool for their business. Let's use the example of a placement agent. You asked for specifics, so I'll give it to you. A placement agent is like a real estate agent for the senior living world. If my mom needed senior living today, I would not know at all what level of care she needs, right? I have no idea what level of care my mom needs. So a placement agent is there to assess her ADLs, or activities of daily living. She would also talk about the monetary ability she would have. They sit there at the house. They get paid for placing people. So if you're a placement agent and you know it might take 3 to 6 months to get that house ready for the market and sold, for that family to get their money, to have the money to move into senior living, when a placement agent refers to me and they know that I can speed that up from 3 to 6 months down to 3 weeks, now the placement agent gets paid quicker for doing the same job they're already doing. I think the magic in this, Ron, is that you're helping these 11 people make more money with the clients they already have. And by helping the family lubricate this tricky, complicated, emotional time to make this go easier. That, mom fell down, that's bad, had to have her surgery, that's bad, had to move into senior living. You take mom out of, people always say, mom is pretty cantankerous that I moved her into senior living. And I'm like, yeah, you think so? Wait till your kids come do that to you one day, right? It's going to be the same thing. And then the real estate agent comes in and says, clean this place out and do this list of demands. Nobody's going to argue right now that the market's not good. It is, but you have to get the house to the market. And, Ron, we haven't said this yet, but what do you call a hoarder that you like?
What do I call a what?
A hoarder? A hoarder, somebody that hoards?
You call a hoarder that you like?
Yeah, what do you call a hoarder that you like?
I don't know. What's the answer?
It's an aggressive collector. Mom wasn't necessarily a hoarder, but she was a bit of an aggressive collector, right? Okay. And so it's the nice way of saying that mom had way too much stuff. And
I'm married to one of them, Phillip. So.
Your wife's a bit of an aggressive collector. See, if you like her, that's a nice way to say it. It's a little nicer than saying.
I've been married to her for 56 years, so I guess I like her. I mean, and she's not listening, so that's a good part. All right, now listen. I asked you a question now, and I need the answer because my listeners are wondering, how do you find these probate deals? So give me just a clear answer on that.
Yeah, great question. And so the word probate has meaning. I don't do probate deals. Probate deals are my second favorite deals. Okay. These are called pre-probate, Ron, because guess what? Mom is still alive, sir. She has not passed away. The pre-probate deals is what, people, I don't call it, people call what I do is pre-probate. That's fine by me. Mom is definitely still alive. In fact, the average is 28 months. Mom's about 28 months away from passing away is the average. And so how do I find them is through networking in senior living with the right people. There's hundreds of jobs in senior living. I've found about 11 that have been fruitful for me over the past 11 years. And do you want me to go through the list of who they are?
No, not now, because you're going to give a free training away at the end here anyway. So let's table that for that.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah. And here's the other cool thing about the types of leads is it's not a one and done, Ron. It's these relationships, I don't even know the lifetime value of them yet, because I'm still doing deals with people that I worked with back in 2011. Right now in my phone, my downsizing expert said, hey, I've got 2 I'm working on. Can you come make offers on them this week? So now I've become a tool for the downsizing guy because he's negotiating on what the pots and pans sell for and the salt shakers and all the other stuff people have. Well, Phillip's his house guy, right? And so I'm a lubrication in this moment when the family, they need something to go their way for once. They've been getting a lot of bad news. And it's a trying time. I mean, families that get along, Ron, don't get along. They don't get along during this situation because sometimes greed happens and arguments. But, the word probate, you said, why probate, actual probate deals are my second favorite is simple. If me and you are brothers, Ron, and our mom has passed away, and now it's truly a probate deal, you and I are going to fight for every dollar because it's our inheritance. But this is different. When mom's moving into senior living and me and you are helping our mom move into senior living, we're not, it doesn't matter how much we get. Is it 92 grand, 98 grand, 88 grand for the house? Because that money is going to sit in an account and it's going to get whittled away until it's gone. Spin down. Remember that Medicaid term we said earlier? They're going to spin that money down. And then after the money's gone, the Medicaid's going to kick in. And it's the only time I've seen in 20 plus years, 22 years of real estate here, where it's about trust and not necessarily about the number.
So when Medicaid kicks in, Bill, do they pay all of the costs? Is the family still obligated to pay some of it, or both?
But when Medicaid kicks in, you have to have $1,250 or less. So you are as broke as a joke, right? You are destitute. And that's when Medicaid kicks in. And so Medicaid will pay 24/7 care. It's such a big deal, this silver tsunami, Ron, is that our own government, we won't have a political conversation today, but I want to be clear here. Our president right now is trying to take away the 1031 exchange to use it to pay for our nieces to take care of our grandmothers in the house. Why do they want to do that, Ron? There's an actuary saying, hey, for every month we delay the 24-hour care, the better it is for our pocketbook. And the silver tsunami is so large, what we're talking about, this wave of these boomers that's coming, the government scared themselves on what to do with all these boomers. And what I'm telling you right now is, a smart man told me, I'm sure you remember Gene Garino, right? He said, we're all going to work in senior, right? I love Gene. And
heck of a guy, yeah.
And he said, we're all going to work in senior living, whether we want to or not, so you might as well embrace it. Yeah. And I like that line because if you're in real estate, think of it this way, Ron, your students, all these people, are we buying a lot of houses from 28-year-olds or are we buying them from 82-year-olds?
You're right.
We've been buying these houses anyway. It's just now the systematization of it to get these deals to come directly to you without other types of marketing.
And us old people are living longer and longer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That's right.
So your whole thing is to build relationships with these, I forgot what you call them, agents that help these folks when they need to figure out what to do next and how to go about it and so forth.
That's right.
They refer you the deals. Then you go in and buy them all cash, I assume.
I've been doing that for about 20 years. And I'll tell you where I failed is having these creative financing options. Oh. And guys, I'm 22 years into my career and I'm learning still today. Ron, I've left hundreds of deals on the table where I was 10 grand away. And had I just had a different arrow in my quiver, I could have bought a lot more houses. And so
I can probably get you in my boot camp, Phillip, if you got a credit card that works.
I need to do it. Let's go. Because, these deals, you got to meet the people at their level, right? Ron, you got to give them options. And so I'm learning forever. This is a lead source. These people need help. And I need, I'm learning right now the multiple ways. And I know you teach that very well, Ron.
When you think about it, nursing home is going to get the money anyway. So the heirs probably could care less. They probably could care less anyway. They know they're not getting the money.
Think about that. That's profound what you just said. They don't care because it's not their money.
Right. And when the money runs out, no government's going to take over.
Yep.
So that lessens the apprehension about the sales price. Yep. So you go in and you buy them on cash, but you take them as is, which is a big relief off of the entire family. And I assume you let the mom live there until she's ready to go into the assisted living, even after you bought the house, which is another big relief. And I also assume you tell them, look, don't worry about clean and then leave whatever you want to leave, take whatever you want. And that takes pressure off. Those are big reasons right there why people don't list with realtors. I'm sure they don't want to show the house. They're embarrassed to show the house. And I can't imagine that your house, most of your houses that you buy, all of them need something, do they not?
I always say, even if it's clean, it's grandma clean, right? There's the roof's replaced, but the paneling's in the wrong spot. The kitchen's from the wrong decade. Ron, these people have lived in the house so long. She got the new kitchen, but it was in 1991, right? It's still old again,
Yeah, I got it. So do you buy these things just where you live in St. Louis, or you buy them pretty much anywhere and everywhere?
We are nationwide now. That's why I'm on here today. I need people with a good heart condition to help me with these leads nationwide. Okay. And so it's our goal is to help 10,000 daughter Judys a month. And right now, Ron, we're helping about 500 daughter Judys a month, but we're going to get to that 10,000 here very quickly.
You've coined the word mom's house.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
why is that?
Yeah. Why is that?
7 to 1. It's women that live in senior living, not men. 7 to 1. So basically, when I say mom's house, it's what the industry lovingly refers to. What are we going to do with mom's house? Hey, what are we going to do with mom's house? And what's funny, Ron, even if dad's the one still alive and mom's not, they still say, what are we going to do with mom's house? It's still, mom rules the roost, right? It's mom's house. If you see my logo, it's a loom, it's cross stitch. Every house I buy, Ron, has cross stitch in it. And so mom's house is, I like domain names that are simple to remember, that my 8-year-old can spell, and just, it's what we refer to this. What are we going to do with Mom's house?
Well, tell me about this free training that you are going to do here for our listeners, because I imagine they're all going to want to hear all about this. This is, you know what, this separates you from all the other investors. This is a specialty type investor, and literally kill the competition. And you probably will never run across one of your students around
the competition won't even know how you got there. They'll be like, how does Ron keep getting these deals, And
I love the fact that you're going in the back door by being referred by an expert in the mind of Mom, so you don't have to get over the credibility issue.
Imagine that. I liken it to this, like if you do direct mail in like that same 38 people do that direct mail. What if the mailman said, hey, don't call these 37, call this one person? How valuable that would be. Well, now take the mailman out and go, the person giving you your mom's end of life care, how much more trust you're putting on that person. And that person says, hey, give Phil a call. There's 6 reasons why these are the best leads. Number 1 is they have motivation. I don't have to convince them of motivation. They're being told by a doctor. This generation listens to everything the priest says and the doctor says, maybe a lawyer, right? They listen to everything those people say. The doctor says Mom has to move. The second reason is they have 100% equity 90% of the time. Sometimes there's a small second or maybe a reverse mortgage, but 9 times out of 10, they own it outright. That's where their equity lives. The third reason is it's a house I can add value to. Even if it's clean, it's grandma clean, but it's always full of stuff and it's not retail ready. The fourth reason is there's less competition, Ron. I usually compete against nobody. It's usually just myself when I get these leads, maybe against a real estate agent, but I have many ways to, like you said, why we're different than real estate agents. But the fifth one is one you just harped on and said, and it's the most important. When someone we're getting Mom's end of life care from gives us the advice to say, give this person a call, they're the most trusted person that I use, that transfer of trust makes it where, like when an elder care attorney refers to me, the family thinks they almost have to sell it to me. And that's a scary thought to me when you have bad actors out there in the investor world, right? And so my training, I hope the people listening today say, I care about others. By the way, first of all, I like money too. Let's be clear. I like money. It's just, can you put people first and then there's the money versus I'm going after the money and forget about people. And I need people in my program that can put people first, because right behind it is not just one deal. These relationships are like an oil well that spits up deal after deal after deal. And it's for the next 20 years, Ron. It's not trendy what I do, but it's got a 20-year run in front of it right now. And I'm excited to be building out this nationwide network of trusted investors. But I'm really heavy on that T word, the trusted investors.
Yeah. So how do you go about putting a number on the house when you buy it? I know you look up the ARV and all of that, but do you ask them what they want first before you tell them what you'll give them?
Great question. I'm known to use a conservative ARV and an aggressive rehab number. So in my local town, I buy things at 80 cents on the dollar. Well, 80 cents of what, right, Ron? I mean, if you put 10 investors in a room, you're going to have 10 different ARVs, 10 different rehab numbers, 10 different exit strategies. Me personally, I anchor at a conservative ARV and I use an aggressive rehab number. And when I say aggressive for me, not necessarily, I'm still cheaper than what they could rehab it for. I'm positive of that. These families, it's like changing your own oil. You might be a bad example because you might still change your own oil, but I use that example a lot, right? Where we all know how to change our own oil, but we don't do it, right? We pay for convenience. These families in this time, Ron, if you knew you only had 28 months left with your mom, would you really spend the next 3 to 6 months rehabbing the house to try to milk a couple extra dollars out of it? The answer is no.
So are you paying 80% of the ARV minus the repairs, or 80% of the
ARV minus repairs?
Huh?
The first thing you said, sir. Yes, ARV minus repairs.
Wow. Well, you pay more than I would. I tell you that.
But hold on, of a conservative ARV. So if you say it's worth 140 and I say it's worth 120, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. All right.
It's all relative, right? I bet our numbers are pretty damn near each other. This is how it sounds.
That probably put you down there pretty close to what I'd pay. Yeah. But
well, and Ron, think of it this way too. If in their mind, if the numbers are similar, but Phil's pays 80 and you pay 70, let's just make up a number. It sounds different, right? Well, Phil pays more. It might be the same number. You never know.
Yeah. But so you're using your R. So you come in with a number first, really, is what you're saying.
Yeah, clear. Yes, sir. And I always find it funny how people say they go through a house and then they say, I'll email you an offer in a week. And I'm like, man, you were there to buy that house that day. Why didn't you do your due diligence before you? Ron, I'm there to single house close. When I'm there, my goal is to buy the house. In fact, I won't even go on the appointment until I know they're ready to sell me the house because I'm a house buyer. I hope everybody listening is a house buyer, not I'll send you an email in a week person. We work so hard, right, to get leads. We work so hard to go on these appointments. We work so hard to try to be a house buyer. Then you get there and you say, I'll get back to you. It's like, what? And for me, it's just
I did that for about 20 years, though. So we have a script for that.
I know. Yeah, I'm sure you do. The best one on the market.
Yeah. All right. So we probably pay about the same then. And what do you do with these houses when you get them? You keeping them? You flipping them? What are you doing?
We do about 200 houses a year in the local market here. We wholesale about 100 of those, keep about 60 as rentals, and then rehab about 40. I want everybody to hear that number and understand, yes, there's money you're leaving on the table if you wholesale, but guys, scaling, rehabbing, that is a hard endeavor. And 40 rehabs a year, it's about 3 crews, right? That's what we like. That's enough. That's enough deals.
It's the hardest part of the business. What is your average profit when you fix and retail?
When you take it all the way to about 25. We're in a conservative market in St. Louis. We don't have big gaudy numbers, but 25, and it's about 17 on wholesaling.
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I want you to do now.
What's that?
All right. Every time you fix one right now and put it on the market, I want you to raise the price at least $10,000. And probably more. You'll get it. I promise you'll get it. So that goes right to the bottom line. Same with wholesaling. Raise it 10 grand. Just trust me on this, fellow. Just trust me on this. Raise it 10 grand. You send me 5 of everyone you just raised 10 grand.
Are we partners now? Is that what we did? No, that sounds good. You're right. The market is.
Just do it. Just believe me. All over the country, my students are doing it. I'm doing it. Man, we're selling them for way more than what they'll appraise for. Yes, while it lasts. And we both know it's not going to last. So let's change with the market. I mean, I got some students out there who are getting ridiculous prices for their houses. And another thing, next time you retail one, do you list them or not?
We have somebody do that for us.
Okay. Tell them we're taking offers until 2:00 on Friday. Tell the whole world that. Let them bid the darn thing up. I tell you, it works like a charm.
Great advice. It's great advice.
If you did a good rehab job, sometimes $25,000 more than what you were asking for the thing while it lasts.
And speaking of while it lasts, Ron, I'm glad you brought that up. When I look at, I've been doing this 11 years now, which has just been since 2011, a continuous climb up. But I was a real estate investor even back in 08, 09. And right now they have a lot of options because that retail market is so frothy. But what I like about what I do with the senior living, and even COVID proved this last year, you can't put the toothpaste back in the container, right? Seniors are going to continue to get old no matter what the economy is. Right. And as the retail market changes, that's only going to make what I do even stronger because now we're an option, even better option when the retail market's not so good.
Yeah, what you do is never going to go out of style.
No, sir.
Yeah, and people always have to have a place to live, including us old people. and people are always selling houses and other people are always buying them. So we're in a business that is recession proof if you adjust for it and stay out of personally guaranteed debt.
Yes,
you don't have to worry about it. In fact, a good recession helps us real estate investors.
That's right. That's where fortunes are made, right, Ron?
So we can make money no matter who's president. They all come and go, or what the economy is. So, all right. Well, listen, you got to tell people how they can get your free training. I know that they're certainly going to want it by now.
Sure. Yeah. Just go to thementorpodcast.com/mom, MOM, thementorpodcast.com/mom, MOM.
Thementorpodcast.com/mom. And
yes, sir.
You're going to take them through the entire process, step by step on this training?
I am. The webinar goes over the who, the where, and what to say. And so I'm excited to share that with your listeners because there's a lot of pie out there for everyone. It's called the 20 is plenty. Ron, how that name got its name is that if you just have 20 people in your local market that know, like, and trust you, you can do 20 plus deals a year in your market. We never got to the 6th reason why they're the best. It's a good cherry on top right now. Remember I said there were 6 reasons why they're the best leads? These leads are free. The best leads, and they're free. And so in my training, I want to teach you guys to speed up the learning curve of by the way, when I tried this back in 2011, I came as an investor. I came as a real estate agent. I'm going, why don't they like me? What's wrong? What did I do wrong? And I had to adapt. And so this training is so that way your students can do it the right way the first time. Relationships are so valuable. I don't want to see them do it the wrong way. And so guys, if you want a lead source that nobody else has with less competition, that's not trendy, it's not going to go away like some of these other, marketing tactics that are out there right now. This is a place to build a sustainable future where the leads come to you.
Yeah. All right. Well, one more time, the Mentor Podcast /mom. And if you're watching this and you don't know who Ron LeGrand is, you can go to ronlegrand.com/terms and get a whole free training on the terms business that Phillip wishes he knew anything about. And that means we buy properties on terms and we sell properties on terms, and we don't use money or credit. And I got so many thousands of people out there doing it all over the country. That's where the real wealth is in real estate. But when I teach it all, so just go get this free stuff while you can. And Phil, you got any brilliant lasting words for our listeners before we get off of this?
Sure. I think with everything, things change. 20 years ago, I was doing yellow page ads, right? And
yeah, well, I've done it all. Yeah.
We've done it all, right? And things change. And guys, I don't want it to be 5 years from now and you said, I heard that guy's podcast about senior living and I didn't listen.
Yeah.
Now is the time to get in front of a wave. And it's not a trendy wave. It's a 20-year wave in front of us. And so this is something you can sink your teeth into, especially if you have the right, I call it heart condition, where you do have love in your heart. It's not for every investor, and I'm okay with that, Ron. And so I hope people select and get the training that have that right heart condition.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking time to spend with our group. I know many of them will be on your training, and you provide a valuable service to our real estate investors by showing them another way they're never going to see anywhere else. And that's always a good thing. Anything I can do to help them make more money, work less, and take control of their life, I'm going to do it. So bringing folks like you on here is how we manage that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me on, Ron. It's a pleasure.
See you soon.
That's all for this edition of the Mentor Podcast. To connect with Ron and learn how you can attain financial freedom, as well as up-to-date strategies to grow and protect your wealth based on today's discussion, go to www.connectwiththementor.com.